It was a New Year's Eve party that ended in tragedy and raised a troubling question. Why would a young mother of 3 take her own life? Now her husband is on trial for her murder. Will what the neighbors say they heard that night change the case? Here's ABC's Clayton Sandell.
That night seemed to hold no sign of the terrible act that was about to take place.
Happy New Year!
After all, a happy couple celebrating New Year's Eve.
So sweet.
Dancing away the last hours of 2011 was what friends of Tom and Ashley Fallis would later recall.
Are you getting this too, Maddie?
But the sounds of laughter turning to this. Shortly after midnight, Tom Fallis calls 911.
Ashley, no! Ashley, no! Ashley, no! Listen to me. Hey!
Ashley, a mother of 3, is mortally wounded in her bedroom from a single gunshot wound to her head. Her 3 children still inside the home.
No! Sure. Stay in here! Come here! You stay in here! You are not leaving me!
At the time, 5 law enforcement agencies ruled it a suicide. But today, 4 years later, the same man you hear apparently helping his wife cling to life.
You are not leaving me! Stay right here! Hey, stay right here! Look at me! Stop! Look at me! You can hear me? You can hear me! I know you can hear me!
Is now on trial for her murder. The prosecution painting a damning picture of an enraged deputy corrections officer out of control.
I just told you.
That is not from you doing
You know
that.
what? Yeah, it is. When you shave your chest, you sit there and I do this all freaking day.
You're just trying to make more scratches right now.
Oh my
Let
God.
me tell you that.
In the interrogation video from that night obtained by ABC News, early clues, according to the prosecution, that Fallis was hiding something.
The scratch mark that's on your chest, what is that?
Where?
You have like a long red.
Oh, probably because I've been doing this all freaking night.
Signs of a possible altercation.
So it isn't, and I just had to ask.
She hit me. It was a playful hit that she hit me earlier, and it was in front of people, and it was just like a boom.
Questions of whether Ashley could have shot herself.
Her head is clear in the back. She'd have to go like this, Tom. Look at me. She'd have to go like this, clear back here. It isn't where she could easily reach.
I didn't. Oh my gosh.
And ear witness accounts that seem to hint at a struggle.
There was somebody awake, and they actually heard your argument and your conversation between you and your wife.
Really, what conversation was that?
She's telling you to get off of me, get off of me. And you're saying, don't leave me, don't leave me.
Oh.
Explain that.
Fallis was adamant.
I didn't shoot my wife!
But Ashley's mother, Jenna Fox, thinks he did, pointing to Tom Fallis's behavior the day of Ashley's death.
At the very end of the night, I think that his behavior towards her was very threatening and very volatile and very scary.
In fact, Ashley Fallis's family has wondered if law enforcement purposely omitted information from their reports in order to protect Tom Fallis, one of their own.
Here you have the victim's family essentially saying the original police department who was investigating this wasn't investigating it properly because maybe he was a fellow law enforcement official.
Evans police have publicly denied any wrongdoing and say there was never a cover-up. But this week, prosecutors put 2 eyewitnesses on the stand who said they'd heard Fallis confess to the crime. Former Sheriff's Deputy Chris Graves.
And at that point, you said that's when you heard him screaming something. What did you hear?
I heard him screaming, I can't believe I shot her, and I can't believe she's dead.
When you say screaming, how loud are we talking?
Loud.
And next-door neighbor Nick Glover, just 15 at the time.
When I heard him saying, oh my God, what have I done? Oh my God, what have I done?
Testifying that he overheard Fallis confessing to Fallis's own parents.
He proceeded to say, I shot my wife.
How certain are you, or are you not, that the voice you're hearing is Tom Fallis's voice that you're seeing standing in that quadrant of your driveway?
I'm 100%. You can't hear something like that and forget about it. I mean, that's going to be embedded in your mind for years to come.
It was damning testimony, but even before the defense started presenting its case, was reasonable doubt starting to rear its head. That confession Glover said he overheard Fallis make to his parents, they say it never happened.
At that point in time,
Did Tom ever make a statement to you that he shot Ashley?
Not at that time, not at any time.
And the defense poked holes in former Deputy Graves' account, pointing out that for years he never told anyone of the alleged confession and had lost his job for lying.
Let's talk about that for a minute. You said that you were employed at the sheriff's office until April or May of 2015. Why is it that you're no longer employed there?
I was fired
And why were you fired?
for this case.
What specifically with respect to this case?
I was terminated for lack of candor and honesty.
And you can see the entry into the skull.
And today, bombshell testimony from a prosecution expert.
So we know the position of the gun.
Remember that interrogation where police implied that Tom's wife had been shot in the back of the head?
I'm telling you that the wound is back here, though.
I didn't pull the trigger.
In day-long testimony, the state's own crime scene investigator, Dan Gillum, testified that was not the case.
I would put the temple, the entry wound right here on the hairline, and you can see the red dot over here on the back side of the head.
Repeatedly refuting the idea that Tom could have shot Ashley.
If Mr. Fallis was holding the gun instead of Miss Nielsen in this angle and direction, first of all, is that an unnatural position for another person to be holding the gun in that manner?
It is for me.
And what about gunshot residue, known as GSR, typically found on the hand of the person who fired the gun?
Okay, where's the GSR on my hands?
We're going to do them. We're going to find that out.
Yeah, okay, find it out. Because you know what? I would like to know where the GSR is on my hands. And you better be testing her hands too. You guys are sitting here freaking milking trying to find something. This is ridiculous.
No, it isn't called milking. It's talking to everybody. And you know that we have to do a complete, thorough investigation. So it isn't any milking. If you had any knowledge of it, you would know.
It's undisputed that the bullet went from right to left.
The defense, in opening remarks, promising a surprising turnabout.
Ashley Fallis had GSR on both of her hands. Tom Fallis didn't have any GSR on his hand.
And with the prosecution painting Tom Fallis as an angry man, out of control, a contrasting picture emerged this week of his wife. Bottles and bottles of her antidepressant medication in the bedroom, and previous signs of depression.
Ashley said on July 24th, 2011, "Dear Tom, I'm sorry with all that I've caused. I'm not happy about it. I'm sorry for your pain, but I can no longer go on living this life."
The prosecution does not have an easy case here because they have this enormous legal burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So if these jurors believe he might have confessed, he probably confessed, but they're not sure about it, and that's the strongest piece of evidence in the case, well, then there'll still probably be an acquittal.
The case, with its wildly diverging theories of the tragic night Ashley Fallis met her end, is scheduled to go to the jury the week after next. For Nightline, I'm Clayton Sandell in Denver, Colorado.